Hi. Oh, okay. So now we've reviewed differentiation and integration. We can get into some basic differential equations. So one that we already saw last time was it's basically integration. So the I used f last time. We can use y this time. dy dx equals 2x. And remember, the goal is to find y. Now remember, the solution for this last time was y equals x squared plus c. Now, if the c confuses you, I guess we could talk a bit about regular equations first. So I use an example, something like x minus 2 equals 4, and the solution here is x equals 6, right? Another equation that you may be familiar with is a quadratic equation. So like x squared minus x minus 6. Now, unlike the previous equation, there are two solutions to this, right? So if we factor this, goes x minus 3 and x plus 2, right? So it's either x equals 3 or x equals negative 2. Both satisfy this equation. Now, this is just the case for quadratic equations. Obviously, you may have also learned that. Let me just erase this real quick. You may also have learned that higher degree polynomials, like say the cubic x cubed equals 2, for example, equals 8, for example, x equals 2 is a solution, but also if we factor this, we get x cubed minus 8 equals 0. This is x minus 2, x squared plus 2x plus 4, right? So this is one of the solutions, but there are two more solutions to this equation. And so we have higher and higher degree of polynomials. N degree polynomial has n solutions. Now for differential equations, there are infinite amount of solutions. So that's what the C means. Now, like normal equations, so let's go back to the quadratic x squared minus x minus 6 equals 0. X has to be, the answer for x has to be a number. So you can't just write x equals x squared minus 6. That's not an answer. Now, we can look at a different equation, so differential equation. So say dy dx equals y plus 3. So you can't just write y is dy dx minus 3. That's not the answer. So if you recall from the last video, y, the goal is to find y as a function of x. So just like this answer above here, you want y equals something something x and a constant. So now we can get to an example. So dy dx equals y. Now for this video, we're just going to guess. Let's look back at a previous slide. As you can see here, one of the examples I gave was e to the x. So the derivative of e to the x is still e to the x. You can see this is basically the same as this equation, right? So we can guess y equals e to the x. And if you check left-hand side, e to the x dx is e to the x. And this is true. Now notice e to x plus a constant, say 1, is not a solution. So de e to the x plus 1 over dx is e to the x, but the right-hand side is e to the x plus 1. So left hand and right hand are not the same. I might add that this is also one way you can do normal equations, right? So like 2x equals x over x over 7 plus 26. You might guess that x equals 7 might be a solution. How do we check if this is true? So we plug it in to the left-hand side. We get 14. We plug it into the right-hand side. We get 27. So they're not the same. So 7 is not a solution. And we might also try, say, x equals 14. The left-hand side, you get 2 times 14 is 28. The right-hand side is 2 plus 26 is also 28. So that's x equals 14 is the solution. Same goes for differential equations. Now, we go back to dy over dx equals y. So we know y equals e to the x is one solution. Another solution you might try. So we tried adding a constant. Evidently that doesn't work. You might start to get a light bulb and maybe instead of adding by a constant, we can multiply by a constant. So 2e to the x. Let's try. So left-hand side is the derivative of 2e to the x. That's just 2e to the x. And right-hand side is just 2e to the x. So they're the same. Yay. So that's how we guess differential equations. So it's very useful to know for especially when we encounter more complex differential equations like dy over dx squared plus y squared equals x squared plus 1. And we may notice if you plug in y plus x, right hand side is 1 plus x squared, and I mean left hand side, well, right hand side is x squared plus 1. So this satisfies this equation. Now, that's not the full answer. So again, going back to the example of x squared minus x minus 6 equals 0. Yes, you can guess x equals 3 is a solution. So 9 minus 3 minus 6, right? Yes, it's 0. But you may recall that there's another solution, x equals minus 2. So the goal with differential equations or solving differential equations oftentimes isn't just to solve a what we call a particular solution, just or a specific solution. This one solution. It's to find the general solution. So we find all the solutions. So x equals 3 is 1 and x equals minus 2 is 1. And you may notice with dy over dx equals y, a general solution is just a y equals any constant times e to the x. You can prove this yourself. It's the left hand side, which is c e to the x, which is the same as the right hand side. So that's about it for this video.